a very important job. He was, at 10 years of age, the shepherd for his father's herd of cattle, and it was great responsibility. Every morning as the sun came up, he would go out to the corral, he would wave his inataga at the cattle to get their attention, and then he would take them out of the corral, down through a grove of trees to the river where they could get a drink. And he was preparing to do just that when his best friend Sipo came running in, completely out of breath. Jabu, you've got to be careful. Last night, Bhubesi, the lion, he broke into our corral. 2 of our calves are missing. There is blood spattered everywhere. You've got to be very careful. And Jabu promised he would be, because he always was careful. He knew the great responsibility in his young hands. And so he waved the inataga at the cattle, gained their attention, and then took them out of the corral, down through the grove of trees, to that river to get a drink. The cattle were in the water, and Jabu sat on the riverbank, dangling his feet in the cool, clear water. Early morning, it was already hot. And then all of a sudden, he heard something in the distance that made his blood run cold. He heard, "Rah!" Now, my friends, who was that? Who was that? Well, Jabu was very curious about what that noise might be. And so, shh, he said to the cattle, be very quiet. Shh. He listened closely, and then he heard it once again. But this time, it sounded much different than before. It sounded like something was wrong. It sounded like this. Now, Jabu, responsible, was also quite curious, and he wanted to know just exactly what that sound was coming from. So he waved the inataga at the cattle and said, shh, you stay here. I'll be right back. Ever so carefully, he crept up through that grove of trees, up into the meadow. And when he arrived, he could scarcely believe what he saw, for there in the meadow was Bhubesi the lion. And he was caught in a most unusual trap. It was wood on 3 sides with a rope that went across the neck, and that rope was slammed into the ground with a stake. And every time the lion roared, ever tighter across his throat, until that lion could barely catch his breath. And then, my friends, something very, very strange happened. Jabu, he could understand everything the lion was saying. Boy, you've got to help me. I'm stuck in this trap. I cannot breathe. Please, you've got to have mercy. Please set me free. Otherwise, I'm sure to die. I don't want to die. Jabu took a step back. He couldn't quite believe what he was hearing. I don't think that's a good idea. If I set you free, you might try to eat me. No, boy, I promise you. I promise not a hair on your head will I harm. Please, please have mercy. Please set me free. And at that moment, Jabu did not see a ferocious beast. He saw a creature in need of some help. But just before he did help, you know what happens if you break a promise, don't you? Those pieces come back and they get you. The lion said nothing. Jabu carefully crept up, ever so carefully. He reached up, he undid the rope underneath the lion's neck. The trap fell to the ground, and that lion let out another mighty roar. Please, take me to the river for a drink. Now, who was down at the river? What was down at the river? The cattle, the cows. Jabu was very clever as well. So he took that lion way upstream. They went way upstream. Jabu stood back against the riverbank. And that lion paddled into that cool, clear water. He took a nice long drink. Water so cold and refreshing. Another sip. And that time when his head came up, he had a look in his eyes that Jabu did not like at all. It was a look that seemed to say, "Those arms look tasty." Jabu took a step back. The lion extended its claws and took another step closer and licked his lips. "Those legs look tasty." Jabu, he scooted back up the riverbank. He said, wait a minute, I don't like the looks of this at all. You look like you're going to eat me. You promised not a hair on my head. If I set you free, you weren't going to harm me. The lion padded closer. Now the saliva dripping from his fangs, all claws extended, ready to pounce. Boy, that promise seemed important when I was stuck in the trap. Now that I'm set free, it does not seem so important anymore. And at that very moment, he began to leap up in the air. Jabu scooted back toward the tree line and realized there was no way out. He closed his eyes thinking this was it, it was his last moment, when to his great relief, out of the trees came Dawn. Hee-haw! Hee-haw! What is going on? Oh my goodness, Donkey, I'm really glad to see you. Bhubesi the lion, he was stuck in a trap, and he promised not a hair on my head would he harm if I set him free. And I set him free, and now he says he's gonna eat me. Jabu, wait a minute. I recognize you. I used to work for your father. Your father never fed me very well. Your father did not even give me straw upon which to sleep, made me work long, hard hours. Go ahead, Bhubesi, eat him. And with that, the donkey disappeared through the trees. And now Jabu feared for his very life, knowing there was no escape. When at that moment, out of the trees came Jackal. Jackal is very, very clever. Yo, 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 what's going on? What's going on? What is going on? Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm so glad you're here, Jackal. Listen, Bhubesi the lion, he was caught in a trap, and he promised not a hair on my head would he harm if I set him free, and I set him free, and now it says he's gonna eat me. Wait a minute, is this true? Is what he's saying true? Yes, the boy does not lie. Oh, wait a minute, okay, wait. You were telling me you, the king of all beasts, the strongest of the strong, you were stuck in a trap? Yes, it's embarrassing, but it's true. Okay, wait, I'm sorry. I think you are totally trying to play me for the fool. Why don't you take me to this trap so I can see it with my own eyes? Fine. And with that, the lion, the boy, led the jackal up through the trees to the meadow where that trap lay on the ground. The jackal looked at it from the left. Right, up, high, down, low, he sized it up. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, no way. There is no way this flimsy little trap could possibly hold you. You're the strongest of the strong, the king of all beasts. I'll tell you what, could you maybe show me exactly how it works? The lion walked over, put the wooden trap around his head, and just like that, Jackal sprang up, grabbed the rope, and slammed the stake back down into the ground. And there was Bhubesi the lion, as stuck as he had been when Jabu first laid eyes on him. The jackal took a step back. You know, the boy was right. Whoever